You guys are so awesome. Every time I call the switchboard, I'm not kidding you. I have
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel, no kidding, and every time, like right now, you're on it, you know. But I'm always telling them about how, you know, that people should call into the representatives and stuff. And so many
I
people
agree.
have told me that because of my channel, now they know because they didn't understand. You just pick up the phone and call 202-224-3121 and you get connected with
Plug you
somebody.
right in. Plug you with your representatives, your senators, and the committees.
Yep.
You know, so it all works out for us. Honestly, it helps. Please call.
Yeah.
Please call. It's critical, honestly.
Hey, you know what? See, now I just called randomly. I don't think I've ever talked to you because I'm really good at remembering like voices and stuff like that. And you know, every time I'm when I talk to somebody, I say, you know what, just pick up the phone and call. And they're like, well, I don't know what to do. Blah, blah. And then after they do it, they're like, man, I couldn't believe how nice they was whenever I called in. And I said, I told you, man. And
Yeah, it's once you get past the yeah, you know what time it is.
yeah,
But
and,
I believe they definitely should hear us, man. They definitely should hear us. This is I hear a lot of calls every day, a lot of concerns. It's no way. I yeah, I wish I was at liberty to pretty much voices, my concerns and but I have to do that on my own free time.
you know what, brother, listen to what I'm telling you. That's why I do what I'm doing because I hear you without you even saying a word. All you have to do
Appreciate it.
is look on
Thank
the.
you.
You know what? I really thank you so much for saying
Teamwork. Yes, Lord.
that.
Yes, Lord.
Amen.
Blessings. Yes, sir. Amen. Blessings to you. You take care. And thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Matt Gates.
Yep. I'm fighting for you, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.
He had to get off there. He didn't want to stay on there because they get in trouble. See, and isn't that a shame that you're an American doing an American job and stuff like that? So you have people in these positions, and like they know what's going on. But guess what? Everybody does. This is what we already know. There's conservatives don't say things because we don't want to be rude. We don't want to push our way up to the table and go out of
Calling the
turn.
office of Congressman Matt Gates. We are currently unavailable to take your call. Please leave your name and a number where you can be reached, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you again for calling. Have a great day.
Ed Winstrup, Ohio.
Connecting you to the office of Representative
Brad Winstrup.
All right, we're calling
dialing.
Brad Winstrup's office now. Let's see if they'll answer.
Congressman Winstrup's office, how can I help?
Yeah, is Jake or Charles available?
They're actually both in a meeting right now. Could I take a message?
Oh, that's okay. This is James Preston. I'd be glad to talk to you because you can get a message to quote unquote my representative, can't you?
Sure.
Okay. What is your name?
This is Kelsey.
Hey, Kelsey. Nice to meet you. You've been lucky enough. You've escaped me before, but welcome to the show. I have the first thing that we need for you to talk to Brad and tell him that we the people want is that we need a report once weekly on all the questions that are being asked of him through the week. Once again, he's not supposed to be taking the weekends off. I don't know why he keeps taking the weekends off. I don't want him to be out of the office unless he's somewhere like, talking to somebody about getting off of our Second Amendment or something like that, or putting getting somebody lined up to put them in prison for going against our constitutional rights of the Second Amendment or any amendment. Then that office needs to be opened, okay? Because we don't have any border now because while he's been in there, there's been so much things going on, like with the jabby pokey thing that happened that should have never entered this country and should have never been made or allowed to be made. And then on top of it, our tax money being funding the Wuhan lab or anybody else who created this debauchery that has been unleashed and has harmed and unalived so many people in this country and around the world. Okay, so he is to once a week. I don't care. We don't care. He can do it on the US.gov thing. What is that where he's at? Can you tell us that address again?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what address you're looking for. Is it for a website?
No, Chelsea, right?
Yes, this is Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. What is Brad Winstrup's, .org or whatever? Give us that address.
Sure, just 1 second, let me double check. Make sure I give it to you correctly. Okay, it's winstrup.house.gov.
Okay, and you say that's Winstrup, right?
.house.gov.
Okay, Winstrup. Spell that for the viewers, will you?
WENSTRUP.
Okay, do it again. I'm sorry.
WENSTRUP.
UP.
UP.
Oh, okay. So, okay, yeah. Okay. WENSTRUP. Winstrup, and that's .gov, right?
.house.gov.
Oh, .house. HOUSE.GOV. All right. So, yeah, we don't care if he wants to use the Winstrup house.gov or however he wants to do it, but he needs to put out on Winstrup.gov, wherever, but we want to know where he's doing that at. That the questions that come in, to the question of, like what I'm about ready to say, here's what I've done, and then we need a report of the outcome or where he's at in that process of that question.
Okay, sure. I'm happy to pass that message along to the congressman. Did you have anything else you wanted me to pass along?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Also, New York and Long Island, okay, they're having to, the sheriff out there is deputizing people because they're trying to take away the Second Amendment, and make it to where, you see, the Supreme Court already ruled that you have the right to keep and bear arms, and you can conceal your arms and all that stuff, because it doesn't say where or anything. And we are the militia, okay? So a militia is not a very good militia if we're not an armed militia. And people don't understand who that militia is that they're talking about. It's you, and it's me, and it's us, which makes a we, the people. Us, we are the militia, and we are to be armed. Okay? So I'm going to need him once again, and also let's see here. There is a Chinese immigrant who just talked with David Hogg and asked him if he could insure, or if somebody could insure that the government would not become corrupted and go against the people. And he said, no, he can't ensure that. Nobody can ensure that. So since there's no assurance of that, like this young lady says, then you ain't getting my gun. And she couldn't have said it any better than that. This is
Okay, I'm happy to pass your support for the Second Amendment along to the congressman. Did you have any other message you wanted to leave?
Yeah, Chelsea, I'm kind of getting a sense here that you don't really want to talk to me, which you're working for me. I guess you don't understand that. This is why that I asked for somebody else. So are you incapable of doing your job that you're paid to do there, or what's going on? Why are you pushing me right now?
Sorry, it's not my intention to push you. I'm just trying to copy your message down so I can pass it along to the congressman.
Right. And it's what I'm doing, but you're making me feel like that you're not wanting to hear what I'm trying to get to my representative. So if you would like, I'll be glad to talk to Jake, who understands who that and why that he's there, or I can talk to Charles, who understands the same thing. Now, if you don't have that understanding, first of all, I wouldn't know why you are there. But second of all, that's fine. I'll wait and I'll talk to somebody that actually does care, because we don't have any time for all this stuff with everything that's going on in my country right now for you to disrespect me and act like that you're trying to get away from me. Now, are you good or not good?
I assure you I understand. I'm happy to listen to your message.
Okay. And then I promise you, at some point in time, I will let you know when I'm done. Okay. Now, I don't even remember where I was at. Let's see here. David Hogg, can't reassure, as nobody can reassure we the people that, that the government won't turn against you, which really, if you look at it the way that it actually is, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt it is turning and has turned on us. So the government is definitely, it's really, really up against the Second Amendment right now. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a Republican that needs to be, this situation needs to be checked in on by Brad, because we're not liking that Nikki, how do you say her name? Frenchco? Frenchco. And she is a Republican, and where was that at? In Ohio. Trimble, Ohio. She's in Trimble, Ohio, Nikki Frenchco, and she was, she's a Republican that was voted in, and when she was just merely checking on the what was going on in the prisons where they was being abused and stuff like that, well, she was checking in on that, and the Democratic, not Democrat, but the Demon Rat or liberal judge and sheriff didn't like it, so the sheriff wound up arresting Nikki Frenchco. And, but that's happening, so we need for Brad to jump in there and fix that, because there is no such thing as borders. We already see that now, because they have obliterated our borders that keeps all of the infection from coming in. And now the invaders are in here. And now you've got Iran that's attacking Israel, which ultimately will bring all of these people that don't understand what's going on in our country right now, they're about ready to find themselves in the military, and they're going to be fighting. So we definitely need for Brad to get in on this, and everything that we're talking, and I'm not just talking about my points I'm bringing up. Naomi, did you want in on this to count it as a call?
Yes.
Okay. Naomi is right here, and she also wants this. She wants to be counted as a phone call today also. And I'll have some other people to be calling in so that they can count also, be counted. Okay. And also, Ron DeSantis from Florida is really, really messing up really extremely bad also. He's trying to say they're passing a bill to where you have to be 25 feet away from an officer, a law enforcement officer, which goes against our Constitution, that it is not only our right, but it's our duty to absolutely, because if you look at what happened in the case of, what's the guy's name, the one guy that they killed, George Floyd. Just like in George Floyd, see, they didn't want anybody there watching over what was happening with that. Boy, they would have loved to got rid of them cameras there, you know. But if you haven't watched that, I challenge anybody to go watch that out there. Now, for right now, I'm actually going to let this be the end, Chelsea, because Charles and Jake, neither one of those guys makes me feel like what you made me feel like in this conversation. So I'm going to go ahead, and unfortunately, you know, you kind of went kind of downhill, you know, on this. This is what we the people are trying to get rid of. We need people who understand what's going on in our country, and we need people that understand. And, you know, here, whenever you call into the switchboard, people had asked me before that's never called in before, they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. And, you know, and then I've actually had them to say, well, you know, I hate it when people's rude to you or something. And then I reassured them. I said, no. Whenever you call in, I said, the people at the switchboard, when you call it 202-224-3121, every time I get any kind of an operator, you know, I said, all you got to do, they're always super professional, super nice. And right before that I called and spoke with you, I got one of the nicest ones, and he so wanted to talk, but he couldn't. But see, there's people that genuinely get it that's in these positions where they are not allowed to speak, but they let me know that they really appreciate what I'm doing because they're with me. And it's unfortunately for us that you don't understand that, and I wish that you did.
I'm sorry that we got off on the wrong foot, and I understand your frustrations, and I'm happy to pass them along to the congressman. I apologize that we got off on the wrong foot.
Okay, well, I appreciate that very much, Chelsea, but it's more important that you understand that what I am doing is I really hope that the conversation that you and I are having, or the issues that I'm bringing up, I really, really, really hope and pray that your feelings in your mind is identical. That we have to stop the murder of the children and stuff like that, you know, the unaliving of these little ones that's defenseless and stuff. People's minds are warped right now. We have so much craziness that's going on. It's like, how, you know, the confusion of whether a man is a man or a woman is a woman, a male is a male or a female is a female. You've got all these people in our armies and stuff like that. There's, you know, if you're talking about male and female, okay, fine. But when you start seeing these broke-minded people that are males that's dressing up in drag and stuff like that, and they're freakish to even look at. They're clearly not in their right mind. And these are the people that you want to count on, like to protect you at night when you're sleeping, like to send out whatever patrol needs to happen or whatever aircraft that needs to be sent up or something. These are people with demonic, messed up minds that are confused, and they're not confused. They're just evil. They're demonic. And this is what we're fighting against, because you yourself, Chelsea, I can tell by you apologizing there, I can tell that you are like-minded. But listen, you have to listen to what we the people are saying, because if you are like-minded, like Charles and Jake and all of us are, then you will understand that we need to do what we are doing right now, Chelsea. You and I need to conversate about this. And you don't think I'd rather be talking about what kind of coconut drink that I like whenever I'm down at my place in Florida? When I go to Florida, man, I'd love to just sit around and talk about, who makes the best Mai Tai and stuff like that. I really would. Or which is better, white wine or red wine to have with fish. It's white. Anyway, but you see what I'm saying? But we can't, because you have these demonic people that get all this money, like Suckle Turd and Bill Gates and stuff, who's computerized. He knows about computers, but then he gets a bunch of money, and the first thing you want to talk about is how you want to depopulate the world. Who made you the authority on that? Who made him the authority to decide what you and I put in our bodies? He's buying up farmland and stuff like that, and he's putting out fake meat. And they're putting out other broke-minded stuff where they're saying, well, you don't even have to have a cow or whatever. Look, we can grow this in a lab. But it all has to be under perfect conditions with no kind of germs or anything, because while they're growing that, it's so delicate that if they get one germ in there, the whole thing is ruined. So it has to be in a sterile environment. Now think about this. If you're eating something that's so sterile, how are you going to build up any immunity? This is why they're doing the kind of things like studying. They studied the Amish people, because their children and the Amish, they don't run to the doctor every time because they're getting sick and stuff. Nope. And why is that? Well, they found out that the kids go into the chicken coops where there's chicken poop from an early age. They go around cows all the time. They're out playing in the dirt or digging in the dirt, planting or what have you. They're always around horses, manure, so on and so forth. And this gives them the immunity and stuff to the germs and stuff they're supposed to have. Now, if you're going to eat something that's been completely sterile like that, just the same way with drinking your milk. See, your milk is boiled. It's boiled to death and killed all the pathogens, they call it, and stuff. Everything's been killed in that. So you ain't drinking real milk. It's not milk. It's just white water, because everything's been killed. But we're being duped, because when you drink it and they say, oh, that's milk. Okay, then you say, well, what is that? Well, it's milk, because I've been told it's milk, because it's this white stuff that comes in a jug. But it's not milk. It's just white nothingness that does nothing for your body. If you want to drink something right, you have to drink milk that's fresh milk that came from that cow before it's all boiled to death and stuff, to get any reward from it. So, and I know I kind of went off on cows and stuff, Chelsea, but honestly, we got to have these conversations. We can't be blasting. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody calls in there and they want to talk about, they colored their hair blue and they don't think it's right, and I fully understand you wanting to get off the phone. But these are real issues when you're dealing with my constitutional rights, which is that Second Amendment and stuff. And here's the deal. If you think that me talking about Florida, there's something wrong with that, then you don't get it, because there's no such thing as it stays in one state. Because look what California's done. California's done stuff or whatever, and then it trickles through, and then eventually it winds up into Ohio, because we have lobbyists, which we have to get rid of. That's another thing too. We want to make sure that he is going up and telling these lobbyists not just them, but we want the lobbyists to be gone out of government. Because if you don't know what a lobbyist is, for those out there, let me explain to you what a lobbyist is. It's somebody that is paid big money to go and hang out with our representatives or anybody that's up in government, and they literally stand, they call it lobbying or whatever, because they're in the lobbies, and they wait till these people walk out, and they say, hey, what do you want? I don't need nothing from you. Somebody says, well, wait a minute, because they check in on these people. They know more about them than themselves do. They say, well, weren't you trying to buy a house that you couldn't really afford? Well, yeah, how do you know about my house or that house? Well, let's just say we could probably make that house affordable for you if you was to go in there and instead of going against that abortion bill or whatever, if you was to vote our way on that house there would probably just drop in price for you. And this kind of stuff, that's just a fraction of what they do. But that's what a lobbyist is. Hey, you needed campaign money? You're trying to raise $1 million? No problem. How about 2 million? All you have to do is do this right here. That's what lobbyists do. We know it, so why are they there? That's ridiculous. What would happen if I would go up there just as plain whatever, and I went in there and I'd say, hey, I'll give you $1 billion or even $1 for whatever. They'd arrest me. They'd arrest for trying to bribe an official or something. So why is it all of a sudden they're called lobbyists? Because it's all been paid for to get to that level where they're at, so that we have these lobbyists. Are you aware of lobbyists, Chelsea?
Yes, sir. I'm aware of what a lobbyist is, and I assure you some of the behavior you're alleging is certainly illegal, and we follow ethics standards and guidelines put in place to protect members from those types of behaviors.
So, such as what?
I'm happy to direct you to the ethics website where you can read the guidelines that we follow.
Okay, but you're saying that there's guidelines to being a lobbyist?
There are certainly laws that prevent bribery of a government official.
But the word lobbyist in itself, says exactly what it is. Why are the lobbyists there? If you know what a lobbyist is, it's plain and clear that they're there to bribe. But just because we word it, this is another thing. I'm glad you said that. They are changing the definitions of things to fit whatever they want to fit. And we need, for anybody that's trying to change the definitions of whatever, we need them to be looked into and brought up on criminal charges, because that's all that the liberals and the Democrats are doing now. So if you say, hey, let's go out or let's share this money 50-50, they change the definition of the words let's to whoever picks the money up first, gets it all. They're trying to change these definitions and everything, and it's absolutely Looney Tunes. And everybody's not enforcing the laws that's there. And this is why that we're getting in the corruption and stuff that we're getting into. But for right now, I think that I think I'm going to let you go, Chelsea, and I really hope, and I mean this, just me to you, and I know you're there, you're doing a job, and first of all, let me say I appreciate you very much, and genuinely, I really appreciate you being there and doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, and I can assure that Congressman Winstrup really appreciates hearing from his constituents in Ohio's 2nd District. So I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Before I let you go, I need a response back to when I can, when we the people can start seeing him answering, like reading off the questions that has been asked to the office, and his response. Like, I want that to be done like yesterday. So when can we confirm? Like, and so he says, okay, well, I'm going to start doing that immediately, and then it will be on, you know, the winstriphouse.gov or where it's going to be and stuff. So I would ask a question, but I found out that asking questions is not really the thing, because really he's there to do what we the people want done. So what I want done is I want a response by tomorrow. And I'll call back tomorrow about noon.
Okay, you want a response to your first question on when you can expect?
Well, I want a response back to all of them.
Okay, sure. I'm happy to let our team know.
Okay? Are you there, Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, it's what I say. I want a response tomorrow whenever I call back to find out, like, what and where and when he is going to be doing what we want done.
Okay, absolutely. I'm happy to let our team know that you would like a response tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea, very much. God bless you.
Thanks, Mr. Preston. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, so there you go. Now, see, this is the unfortunate thing, you know, that we keep running into, and but thank goodness the majority so far, Jake, Charles, you know, shout out. At least they understand, they get it, you know, that there's nobody that should be getting butt hurt or anything right now, you know. It's one of those things where, man, that thing there, it does a good job. It keeps my coffee good and warm. Everybody ought to get one of these right here. Anyway, we'll just have to keep working on Chelsea there so that she understands that, you know, we're not against her unless she's against us and we the people, the Constitution, the Bible, so on and so forth. But I don't think so. I think that she just really hasn't been used to people genuinely calling in and recognizing her as being an answer machine. So anyway, listen, we appreciate everybody out there for watching. We hope that you're doing well. Actually, before we go, here, let me show you a few things. We'll be right back. All right, now I want you guys to see this right here. And I probably should have played this at the top of the show. But of course we gotta pay for time with time.
Time to go buy some guns because the gun debate is over.
My name is Lily Tan Williams, and welcome to my Live Free or Die state.
Okay, this here is a Chinese right here, and she's talking about what it's like to be in communist China. And of course, right here is, let me see, how do I put this? Yeah, a liberal.
Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution.
So under Mao, 20 million people died. Absolute, just.
So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me a gun owner tonight? Our government in the U.S.
So she said, asking Demon Head over here, can you guarantee me a gun owner right here that the government
in D.C. will never become
will never become a tyrannical government. Now listen.
a tyrannical government. Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever
There's no way I can ever guarantee that. Well, isn't that the problem? Why? Why wouldn't you guarantee that? Because you can't guarantee what somebody else's mind is. if you think about this, look, back the blue till it happens to you. That's what they say. Now, what does that mean? That means that, everybody thinks that cops are good until they encounter them. And if you haven't encountered them, I challenge you to find somebody or whatever, It's the same way with if you haven't encountered communism, which we're actually dealing with it right now, from the demonic losers that wear demonic crap, toboggans, shirts, so on and so forth, there's definitely places that you want to steer away from, because in the United States now, unfortunately, we have snake dens that you want to stay away from. And the Plains, Ohio, Athens, Ohio. Let me tell you something. Here's what I've noticed about all of these liberals. They are 1,001%. I mean, I can't stress this enough. Cowards. I've invited them, I don't know how many times, to have just one-on-one conversation or something, and there's not one that does it, Not one that does it. So, but anyway, we're winning. We're going to win, but we can't allow even the slightest little bit, like right now, Ron DeSantis down in Florida, just made it to where you have to be 25 feet from law enforcement officer to video them. And it says that if you're told to back up or you're interfering or something like that, that they can arrest you now for that. Okay, Ron DeSantis, you have lost your ever-loving mind. You are slipping into the direction of a liberal. At once upon a time, Ron DeSantis, I thought that you had the potential to be a future candidate for president. But you don't get it. I watched you where you said that you put the government first, then you said the state, and then third, you put the people. Then you said the people. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Let me see if I can find that for you. All right, I found one here. It's not all that long. It's only 3 minutes long or something like that. But let's go through this here right quick and look at what, man, I'll tell you what, he's really shaping himself up to be against the people, I'm telling you, which is a shame. Once again, I thought, at one time, I thought, well, shoot, he's going to be able to be a future president there, but you listen to this, and it's clearly he is not in touch with we the people here. And I know this is Florida, but why is this important in Florida? It's important if it's in our country. Again, like I've talked about 100 times, if you leave liberal mold in your closet and you say, oh, no, and you close the door, and it's just, it's not that much, so you just say, close the door there. You keep using the closet, but then eventually it's like, ooh, man, that's nasty. You can't just close that door and think, it's okay, it'll be fine, Because the next thing you know, you come in and it start crawling out the cracks of the door and stuff, like mold and nasty stuff does, So next thing you know, your house, your country is infested. So what do you have to do? Sometimes you got to burn that sucker down. Start all over again, Second Amendment. All right, here we go.
So we're going to do a couple bills that I think provides support for people who are wearing the uniform.
Look at it. Look at these guys here. I guarantee you they're like, yeah, buddy, man, I can't wait to crush and watch this.
And recognizes that, we've got some strange currents going on in our society right now that really seek to delegitimize law enforcement.
I'm pretty sure this one here, name right here is Jason, and I think this one over here. This is Dennis. You can tell by how really droopy and he's got like that blind.
Or first responder when they're actively doing their job. You shouldn't be in a situation where you're at a traffic stop, you're responding to a call of someone in distress, and then you have people come trying to interdict or trying to harass you.
Okay, now here's the problem with that. In distress, okay? So you clearly don't even know what you're talking about there. And remember, he is an immigrant, okay? So he immigrated over here. So he doesn't even know about the ones like myself that has been here. This is our country. He doesn't understand that. We made a wonderful place for all of these invaders to come into, and then once they get in here, now they want to change it or pretend like they fully understand it. This is why it's important to only let in very few. I'd say none now, but let in very few. I think from now on it should be none until after we get this whole debauchery straightened up or whatever, and get the devil out of here. Which clearly you're not going to be able to eradicate it all because of right here, because there's a lot of people going to think he's so wonderful. And I thought that he had his stuff together too. I thought he clearly had a good understanding, but he's saying, well, if you're in an emergency and you get someplace and you got somebody that's there harassing you, how is it harassing if you're just videotaping the truth? Let me tell you why. Because liberals don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. They don't want you to bring out a camera. If somebody is opposed of you bringing out a camera, be very, very, very disturbed at that. Because remember, these are the same liberals that when we had our election and everything was running smoothly, actually it hadn't been running smoothly for a long time, but it was set up to do a very important job. Well, if you ask somebody, hey, let's open the box there and recount that, and if they're fighting you, because you guys watched what I did 2020, whenever they closed it down and all of a sudden they opened it back up in the morning. Look, how stupid are we? Why aren't people kicking and screaming over just that alone? I mean, what disturbed me the most was the lack of people saying anything about that. Mike Lindell, MyPillow.com. Go buy something off the man. He's willing to put out every dime that he has to try to say the same thing that I'm saying. If you don't know there was something wrong with 2020, then you better go, get you a sign and start waving it that says I'm a liberal on it. Because 2020 did it need to happen? Absolutely. Because it showed us that the system that was set up that should have worked fine, the liberals, they found holes in it, and they used those holes to come against us and to do what they did. Because there's no way in hell that Biden got in there legitimately. And I'm telling you right now, if you was to set that up, or if you go look at the cameras and stuff, why did they put up cardboard and stuff like that on the windows? Why would you do that? Look, we don't have to ask why anymore. I find myself sometimes, I say, why this? Why that? No. It's not even why. We understand why. Call it like it is. It's liberal. It's a liberal thing. I mean, the demonic, treasonous, whatever you want to put around it, that's what it is. It's not a question. We know that it was screwed. We know that there. But when you start saying why this, why that just means you don't have the answers. But we do have the answers, and we do know what they are. But what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? everybody says, well, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. Well, if you're one of those saying, I don't know what to do, well, I'm telling you what to do. It's easy. Pick up the phone. I'm not saying this will fix it, but it's definitely something that you can do, is call in to your representative. Brad, he's on his way out or whatever. He's not going to do anything. He's done caused his whatever he's caused, and he's just trying to make it to his finish line so he can get out of there. Whatever deal he's got set up or whatever, I don't know, But he's wanting to get out of there at the end of this year. I don't know why. But nevertheless, that's who it is that we got to work with right now. I haven't heard from Brad directly, which I would really, really like to talk to him personally or whatever. Did I get that paper filled out with him? Okay, well, we're going to try to get that filled out. Maybe I can go do an interview or something with him. I wonder if he'd do it. Anyway, we'll see. Here's what my prediction is. I'm saying that I'm going to fill this paper out to try to do an interview with Brad, and because you can do that, supposedly, you ask them or whatever. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it, but you can set up a meeting to where you can go and actually meet your representative and stuff. Now that's a next huge step for somebody or whatever, but I encourage everybody to do that. But why should you have to set up a meeting? Shouldn't he be glad? You know what? The president, Javier from what country is that? Say it.
I think it was Argentina.
Okay, Argentina, I think it is. Anyway, he flies commercial flights because he wants to be with the people. He wants to show he's not better than you or anything else. Now his country is flourishing after he fired he got rid of 160,000 or whatever government. He got them out of there. He just and he flies with the people. Now, why is that? How can you do that? It's because you're not afraid of what you're not ashamed of what you've done. And you're not afraid of somebody coming up and asking you a question. Nor am I. But I'm going to tell you something right now. There's rats out there that I have confronted. I've been in front of. And I'm talking about robed rats that other people was calling them God. They call them judges. And they definitely ain't my God. And they definitely wasn't no judge of mine. But these liberals, they'll bow down before them. I don't. I'm not going to. I don't have to. Because I tell the truth. And you know what? As much as I possibly can, I videotape everything that I possibly can. Because everybody knows that if it's not been recorded, it didn't happen. And we know this firsthand now, don't we, Naomi?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
We know that in a big way, don't we?
Yep.
Yep. So, anyway, let's get back to, I hate to keep interrupting like that, but I'm telling you, this place is a mess, and we need everybody out there, get up and do something. Call in. Man, I'm going to tell you, when you talk to these switchboard operators and stuff, I don't know exactly how or why that it is, but you can tell that they know what's going on. I mean, and if you think about it, if you hear some people, like certain people calling in and stuff, you can pick up on what's going on just from being a switchboard operator, just from that alone. But anyway, call these wonderful people and talk to somebody. Now listen to this.
Performing your duty. So if you do that, we view that as a problem, and now you're going to be held accountable. The other bill is
So now you're going to be held accountable. But who's holding you accountable? Who's holding you accountable? Who holds you accountable and you over here? Who's holding you guys accountable? You can't hold them accountable because what did we just say? If it's not recorded, it didn't happen, right? So, and we all know that whenever they wear their little body cams and stuff, that all they have to do is this right here. They cover it up with their hands, just like what the government does. They cover it up, So how long are we going to put up with this? How long are we going to put up with this? Or are we a frog in the water that the heat's being turned up on? Huh? Well, let me tell you something. I can tell my ass is burning.
HB 601, and what it's going to do is it really puts the kibosh on these extrajudicial investigations.
So it puts the kibosh on these investigations, meaning it lets us do whatever the hell it is we want to do without having to answer to anybody about it.
Against law enforcement. They'll set up these things called citizen review boards. Usually,
oh, look at the disgust on his face. Did you catch it? Look at the face.
These extrajudicial investigations against law enforcement. They'll set up.
Look at the disdain on his face. They'll set up this with the citizens that's looking into things. Look at the disgust on Sanctimonious's face here.
These things called citizen review board.
Citizen review. Ooh, a citizen review. How dare you? Look at this. Look at that.
Usually in these very tilted politically
Very tilted. So right there, he already knows that if it's got anything to do with citizens, it's got to be tilted, right? It's got to be a very tilted thing. Now listen at all the shit that he had.
They'll stack it with activists.
See, they'll stack it with activists. The citizens, they're going to stack stuff with what they want.
And they'll just start reviewing things and trying to put people under the gun, even if there's no basis to do that. So we view that as very much a political weapon.
Look at old Jason over here. He's daydreaming about... Anyway.
We don't think that that will contribute to public safety at all. In fact, we think that that would hurt public safety. And so this bill...
See, in fact, we think that would hurt public safety. This guy is a Republican liberal right here. A rhino liberal is what this is right here.
Really stops that from happening. If you have review boards, that's fine, but it's got to be done in ways where you have the sheriff or chief of police appointing people, because the sheriffs and the chief of police, they have an interest in ensuring that their personnel are conducting themselves appropriately as well. I mean, good order and discipline is very important, but it...
Oh, yeah, very important. To who?
Can't be people that have an agenda. So
can't be done by people having an agenda. Excluding you right there, liberal Ron.
This bill is going to do that. I think it's going to be something that is going to give more peace of mind to people who are wearing the uniform. And that was the one thing that I hear when people...
See, it's all about them uniforms.
From some of these jurisdictions and move to Florida, get the bonus, and then they start...
You know, I don't know how many of them uniforms that I talked to. And I asked them, I said, well, how about this? You know, and I mean, nothing was wrong or anything like that, you know. Nobody, nothing, but just in conversating with them, you know, even off duty, you know, just people I was just talking to or whatever, and then I found out that, you know, that because they always want to make sure that you know who they are and where they work at, you know. And, but I would ask them, I'd say, wow, you know, why is it that you guys are like really, you know, easy to talk to when you don't have the uniform on? You guys are like completely different. But then when you put it on, it's like you turn into a complete different, you know. And we was discussing, and it wasn't just one time. I don't know how many times this has happened. And I asked him, I said, well, I wonder what, you know, I thought about like kicking off a show or something, and I thought about doing this big time. This was, you know, some years back. But I said, do you box or anything? Do you wrestle or anything? And a few of them said, yeah, they was into, you know, sports, wrestling, different things. And I said, well, in your own sport, would you be up for somebody that you had rubbed the wrong way while you were in your capacity and working? Would you be up for, like, in a professional setting, like go up against them? Every one of them said no. Every one of them said no. Why would you not? You know? I mean, that don't make any sense at all. I mean, if if you guys have never ever seen the back seat of a cruiser, I challenge you guys to look it up online or to go to your local. This is the most important thing. Go to your local, like whatever county that you're in or something, but go up and look at not just the sheriff's cruisers, but look at the cops' cruisers, because there is a huge discussion to be had right there with the cops. And who does the hiring? Like, who ensures, like, when you're hiring somebody that's let's just start with the cops first, just the local police, right? What is the qualifications for that? That you say that you went to a police academy for what? How many days do they go? 2.5 days or something, like kindergarten or something? I mean, I don't know. But what is the qualifications? That they shot something so many times in a row or whatever? Well, how come the qualifications aren't? Well, what do you do when, the public comes up to you and they're addressing you? I mean, how do you address them? When they're asking you a question, like, how do you treat them? And it's really super easy. I would address them the same as I would anybody else, with respect, until they disrespected me or something. But even then, if I was in my uniform, I would probably let a whole lot, well, not probably, I would let a lot of things go, but there has to be real Americans putting on uniforms. And that uniform does mean something. That's the power of the people when you put that on. That's the power of the people. But you know what? That power comes from being respected, because true Americans respect people. If you want proof of this, let me show you what true Americans are, okay? Why don't we have slavery anymore? Because real Americans understood that we don't want to stand on somebody. That it's not right to lock somebody up and to make them do something against their will. And to treat people with dignity, right? We'll be right back. All right, well, I was hoping to do some target practice, and I thought maybe it would be something outside. Anyway, the uniforms are we the people. And you have people that are cowards, liberals, that are wanting those positions, because how do you keep somebody from fighting back? Is you put on one of those uniforms. Then you're pretty much, you can do or say anything that you want. And you also know that you have other cowards there backing you up. And that's a fact, Jack. Somebody once told me, they said, well, over time I've learned this to be so true. Do you know how to tell when somebody's afraid of you? Is because they can't stand you. And there are absolutely some liberals, liberals that I know, and they can't stand me. And it makes me so happy, I can't even tell you. I mean, genuinely thrills me to death. It actually is what gives me the drive to keep going and do better and better all the time, is because of that. Because if you don't see that you're winning, then you're going the wrong way. And so I have to be reminded of certain liberals and stuff, and it really makes me feel way super, super awesome. So I am super awesome, and you're super awesome for being here. You're super awesome for being subscribed. I done a video about the 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't seen that yet, and you haven't got put in for the free giveaway that I'm having for reaching over 1,000 plus subscribers now. Go watch that video and get put in for that. Sanctimonious here, I don't really want to play any more of this because this guy is unfortunately turning out to be more of a liberal than I can stand to watch or whatever. But if you want to view this thing here, the guy's channel is First Coast News. And matter of fact, I think I'll probably go ahead and subscribe to this, and I'll put it on all there because that's pretty cool. And I'm gonna give it a thumbs up for him reporting this, not because of the content, because this guy here has got to go, and they're going to go. This is our country. See where we're at, and nobody thought to put these into words, but I'm going to try to put this into words. Okay, us Americans, and when I say Americans, I mean conservative Americans, okay, that believe in God, that want this country to do good, that doesn't want evilness for somebody else or whatever, unless they're evil. This is our country. Like, we can't sail around the world and find some place that hasn't been discovered. Now pretty much the whole world, every piece of land has been discovered. So it's not like that we can pick up and say, hey, you know what, these people, and why should we have to do that? Why should we have to do that? We're not going to do that. This is our country. You're in our country. You are in our home, and we have allowed you as immigrants or whoever you are to come here. And if you don't understand this, if you don't understand what I'm saying, that I am not against Americans, then get off the channel. I don't even want to hear from you. But if you are a true American and you understand what I'm saying, that you believe in being good to people and just doing your thing, like going fishing or to start a little business or something. Oh yeah, look what's happening now. You can't start no business and be successful because you better have $1 billion in your pocket. And then as soon as somebody finds out that you have money, the liberals come out, and the thieves out there, they will come and they will lie and they will steal off of you. They want to ride on you. So I'm telling you, this is our country. We're not going anywhere. We're going to take it back with the very things that we put in place to keep it, like the Second Amendment. When does that invoke anyway? When does the Second Amendment come in? When is it time to start putting that in place? Because I'm telling you, it's already passed. That time has been here. And they don't want us to communicate with each other. They want to confuse us. And the way that you get confused is not to get into the Bible and learn what it says. If you want to be confused, just bypass the Bible. But because it even says in end times that there will be such confusion and stuff. We watched old, what's his guy from, I can't think of his name now, from Russia. But he said that this was the whole plan. He said this years ago. I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, but he said that's the goal, is to confuse Americans, and then just, and look around. The liberals, they don't care about you or your family or anything else, Hey, listen, I've had all I can take. I got to get outside and enjoy a little bit of the sunshine and warm weather. Got some things to do. Again, we got some giveaways and stuff that we're working on in the future here. We want to kind of use this first one here as kind of a learning process or whatever. But go check it out and get in on the giveaway. God bless America. God bless you and yours. I always know after I get off here there's something that I wished I would have said or done or something. But Appreciate y'all very much. So God bless America, you and yours. Thanks for praying for us. We're praying for you. Love you, Lord. Love you, boss. Peace out.